Hello and welcome to today's episode of Trade the Chain. It is February 4th. I'm joined by the best hair in crypto, my man Ryan Gorman, as well as the two smartest crypto analysts this side of the Mississippi. That's Monty and CJ, probably the other side of the Mississippi too. This is actually a cool episode because we're going to break down, we did DeFi yesterday. We're going to break down a couple of DeFi coins today just because they're at the top of the 24-hour list for performance. But before we get to those exciting things, which is AAVE and UMA, in case you were wondering, we're going to hit the big boards right after Ryan takes us through the legal.
Yes, sir. Thanks, Alex. This is just a reminder that all content provided by Trade the Chain is strictly for informational and educational purposes only. It is absolutely not investment advice, and please don't take it as such. Trade the Chain is brought to you by Trade the Chain, a 24/7 community of crypto traders around the world in 21 time zones now. We hit another one, Alex.
Yeah.
All ages and abilities in there, sharing ideas and learning from each other using AI-driven sentiment indicators, actionable alerts, and all kinds of other information provided by Trade the Chain to trade like a crypto insider. TradeTheChain.com for a 14-day trial.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, but your community has doubled, you said, in the last week or two?
Yes. Yeah,
absolutely.
It's doubled.
Absolutely. And real quickly, CJ, I want to just interject that Ryan, I chuckled at his quote of for all ages and abilities, but it's funny because I've been on coaching calls where I'm on with millennials, young guys, and then I've also been on with retirees who are trading crypto. So it's actually truly a cool thing.
Really is. It's amazing how fast it's grown and how active some of the community members are. They help each other, you know, they pick each other up if someone has a bad trade. And it's so reinforcing and helpful to have this group of like-minded people with you when you're on this journey, as we all are.
It really is.
And then moving over to Monty and I and our community, marketrebellion.com/crypto. With this service, you get access to exclusive trade ideas, our macro portfolio allocations, a pro charting platform, a trading education curriculum, and an elite community of traders all around the world, and much more. If you're serious about trading crypto, this is the service that gives you everything you need all in one place. So start your first month trial for just $1 at marketrebellion.com/crypto.
And I'd like to interject on that ad too, by the way. You know, CJ and Monty launched this thing like almost the same time we launched Trade the Chain. Their community is so awesome. They got this real-time chat. I jump into it now because I'm constantly checking the charts. And one of the things that's really interesting is these cats, because they're part of a broader thing at Market Rebellion, have some of the best guests on. They hold their cocktail hours. They just had what I think John had Kevin O'Leary on the other week or last week. Yeah, I mean, like really cool people come and join these people. They're way more respected than Ryan and me, but I mean, you know.
Oh, absolutely, definitely.
Well, with that, let's get into the big boards. So yesterday, we're looking at the 4-hour chart on Bitcoin. We saw this 9. We saw that that's a dangerous sign, or no, I wouldn't say dangerous, but typically when you get a 9, sure, we may have some bullish price action following it, but typically price will, retroactively come back and go below the top of the 9 level. And, ever since we've done that. But we've had some nice bullish momentum, I have to say. We're putting in some nice higher lows into the overall trend. And while we did reach that 9, we continued to go up. We didn't immediately correct down and sell off like we did at this previous 9 when we had just the absolute peak. So now we're seeing more of a bullish consolidation. And, what I want to see here is a consolidation above this level or in this channel. Anywhere above like the 33K level, I don't want us to go back to 30K from a bullish perspective. If we go to that price level, I might have to get short again, or at least consider that option. Right now, I'm just still bullish neutral and looking for the trend to put in a new higher low from the macro perspective. And one thing I want to show you guys before I pass this off is just a little moving average action here with the Williams alligator. And now we are no longer in this kind of bunch where we have a compression of the moving averages. We don't want a compression of the moving averages when we get into a bullish trend. That's not typically characteristic. But what we're seeing right now is beautiful. We're seeing these three parallel support levels that are below price. And if we look at our previous run up, that's precisely how we started the last one. We want to see price above these three moving averages at the start of a bullish run up. So that's a really good sign for me. That means that we got some solid support up here at around the 36K level. So that one, and last one here, and then I'll pass it off. But the Keltner channels are the other one that I like on the 4 hour, because they're basically showing the same thing. We did break above the top channel. Now we're kind of getting a regression to the mean here at about 35.7. But as you can see, in uptrends, we use that same middle level as support the whole way up. So it's a really promising sign to see that price is actually increasing and using this blue middle level as support. So all very promising signs for the bulls. Hopefully we get that that consolidation above 35 and 36K for the macro higher low.
Well, let's see what Mr. Short has to say.
Okay, I'll
I haven't used that name in a while.
I'll provide a little bit of pessimism here.
All right.
I'm not sure what's going on with my RSI. Here, CJ, could you pull up your Bitcoin chart? Sorry. My chart is kind of freaking out here.
I will say that spike at the end of January will forever be known as the Elon Musk spike.
Yeah, so when CJ was taking a look at the 4 hour chart, one thing that I noticed was kind of how it differed from Ethereum's chart. And that's something that we've been touching on a lot in the past few weeks, is kind of how Bitcoin was setting up with these higher lows, whereas Ethereum was kind of setting these higher highs. And now we're seeing a little bit of a discrepancy once again on the 4 hour chart, because with Bitcoin, if you could turn on the TD sequential, CJ, you can see that we're actually closing below, or we're dipping below the setup support on the 4 hour chart. And that differs from Ethereum greatly, because Ethereum is actually setting up above the setup support line. So you can see there that we got that setup support at 36.95K that we got from the green 9 previously. And we're below that. But if you could switch over to Ethereum, we're actually kind of above that level on the Ethereum chart. And going forward, I think there's good reason to be a tad more bullish on Ethereum than Bitcoin. And I think a large part of that has to do with DeFi. And we're going to talk specifically about some DeFi assets later. But CJ, I'm going to steal screen sharing back real quick.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
The Perpetual Index is something we look to a lot for DeFi, because it kind of gives you an overall macro perspective on just kind of how all the assets are performing as sort of an index. And as you can see, we're just putting in incredible levels here, closing. When we got this 9, I kind of expected a bit of a reversal, but we just kept carrying and carrying. And I think one thing that contributes to this is just retail traders love the prospect of DeFi. And that's a combination because of the low price points of many of the assets, and also the clear utility that many of these assets have. So with a lot of projects, it's not always clear what exactly the utility is or why people are speculating on them. But I think retail traders really appreciate kind of the clear-cut utility and the clear value of DeFi assets. And that's reflected in the amount of USD we're seeing locked in DeFi. It's increasing at a very impressive rate here. And I think that's one of the reasons why we are seeing Ethereum kind of outperform Bitcoin in this last few week period. So I'm excited to see if this kind of continues. I expect it to continue because I don't think the retail speculation is exhausted yet. So I'm excited to kind of see where DeFi can go from here and what coins benefit most from this DeFi boom.
And I just want to show one data point, because Monty really did a nice job showing the data of all the capital that's gone into the DeFi market. But to give you an example of how this has grown so quickly in just 1 year, only $2 million went into the DeFi ecosystem in the month of January of 2020. But, you know, here we are at, what'd you say, 10 billion, double-digit billions that we're at, you know, less than a year later. So tremendous growth from DeFi.
I think it's 29 billion.
Well, Ryan, I think we've quoted that for the last 48 hours. It's probably 30 billion.
Oh, it has to be 30 billion now with the appreciation. But like when you're taking a step back just for 1 second back to Bitcoin, since we kind of jumped the chasm to Ethereum there, you have the CME's chief economist coming out saying that Bitcoin is now emerging as serious competition for gold because gold can be continuously mined and there's no real idea of how much gold there is left. There are estimates, but gold production is ramping up. Whereas Bitcoin, you have a set supply and we know when that supply is going to finish being mined. Do you think that this is starting to set us up where Bitcoin may not have the parabolic run-ups and catastrophic drop-downs and we start slowly grinding higher? There will be times of volatility, but we've kind of over time just grind higher as it appreciates in value due to that supply constraint?
Yeah, I think that's definitely going to be the case going forward. I think we're already kind of seeing that play out because these last few weeks we've been talking about how Bitcoin is kind of due for a correction. Because I mean, we've been looking at the weekly chart and historically looking back at other instances of similar overbought nature, we've seen steeper corrections. We've seen corrections of up to 50%. And now I think with the presence of all this institutional capital kind of creating a price floor, it kind of seems like we're holding steady at 30K. So for me, that's an encouraging sign that maybe the downward volatility is going to be less significant going forward. But that's all contingent on the presence of the institutional capital. So as long as that keeps coming in and they don't short the market, I think the volatility is going to be less significant than what we've seen in the past.
Fair enough. And one more point on Ethereum, since we have discussed that as well. Transaction fees just hit a record high, $20. You don't think that at all is limiting the upside or the potential for a rally when you have significant network congestion, processing times are taking longer, and fees are starting to become, you know, I wouldn't say unaffordable, but proportionally they're becoming a significant factor in people's thinking about how they use ERC20 tokens?
I think that's why layer 2 protocols are seeing such a rise in popularity. You look at, you know, Ryan, you've spoken about this many times in the past. We all have LRC, Loopring. We have a multitude of layer 2 tokens that are looking to solve the problem. And that's why I actually was anti-Ethereum for the longest time till I started seeing these things in action. And now I'm Ethereum bull because of
absolutely.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, Weston was telling me the other day, I need to start taking my Ethereum and putting more of it into a Uniswap wallet so I can trade these other tokens. I'm not selling any of my Ethereum anytime soon. No. I don't see the point. It's been very good to me. I don't want to get rid of it. There's too much fundamentally behind it versus Bitcoin. I think is it's more the whims of the market, and you can't analyze it as well as you can Ethereum because you have all of these projects underneath it that are all growing at such a substantial rate. It's just, I feel like it's a better bet going forward for me anyway.
Yeah, totally.
Agreed. And one thing we always talk about, Ryan, is kind of the hierarchy of the sort of projects that exist in the cryptocurrency ecosystem. And like you said, there's so many projects right now that have tremendous upside that exist under the umbrella of Ethereum. And I think when retail traders start to kind of take profit on those projects that exist under Ethereum, so lots of these DeFi projects, some of those profits will flow back into Ethereum. So I do think there's a lot of good fundamental reasons to be bullish on ETH right now.
Just looking at the Trade the Chain dashboard, both Bitcoin and ETH long term are bullish, but Bitcoin daily sentiment, they're neutral, whereas Ethereum clearly is a bit more bullish even on the daily charts. So I think, looking for long-term appreciation, I still feel like you'll get more bang for your buck if you're in Ethereum right now.
Yeah.
But looking for that stable store of value. I think Bitcoin is finally starting to realize that premise, especially for people in countries where, you know, you don't have a US dollar or a stable currency.
72 points on the long-term sentiment. So that's a good buy.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, folks. We're gonna go to two more coins for today. We spoke about DeFi yesterday. We're gonna speak about DeFi again today. These two are coins after my own heart because they're both financial instrument coins. So the first one we have up, what chart do we do? AAVE. So AAVE here is they got so much cool stuff going on. Stani, who's a friend of the show, has been on the show. He, you know, they're working on mortgages, DeFi mortgages, but more than that. You know, we had a call with his team a couple of weeks ago about our institutional side, our borrow lend and synthetic margining desk. This thing can handle variable interest rate swaps. It can handle variable interest rate loans. It is phenomenal what they can do. I'm excited. So let's hit the AAVE.
So, Alex, you interviewed Stani back in early October. Is that correct? I think we were on that one. So, price of AAVE at that point was,
don't tell us,
$40, $47. So roughly a 10x to where we're at now in a very short period of time, just a couple months. So
Mascioli bump.
Good for all of those AAVE holders. Obviously, some very interesting intrinsic fundamentals going on here. What about the mortgages Stani wants to put on the blockchain? You guys know about that?
Yeah. So, I mean, I had dinner with him one night and I asked him about it. He went on and quickly after my second glass of wine, I was going to say bottle, it was a glass. Second glass of wine, I realized that he's totally lost me. And so I said, wait, bring it down to the common man talk here, okay? And the whole thing with mortgages is where it can be like no money down. You pool the liquidity assets of it. It's just really some cool stuff happening. I'm not going to get into technicals because I don't understand the technicals. I'm a capital markets guy.
I see what the benefits to people like Alex and myself and you, CJ and Monty. I see what the benefits can be, but ask me to try to explain the technology. I'm better off trying to explain how a jet engine works.
I will tell you, yeah, exactly, Ryan. I will tell you what I do know about AAVE very well is the price was $40 when we had him on the show, and the price is $500 today. So that's it, folks.
Mascioli bump. That's what it is.
No, the Italian palm. Our next one is UMA. We joke about it and call it the Uma Thurman coin sometimes. No, I'm just joking. So what UMA is a really interesting coin. It was what?
Ooh. All right, that was just my reaction.
Oh, it was founded by two people who met each other on Goldman Sachs trading floor, and it's a capital markets coin as well. It allows you to create synthetic assets based on Ethereum, basically anything such as futures, contracts for differences, which are CFDs, total return swaps, basically anything of derivative instrument value. So I think it's a cool coin. I liked it in August when I first got turned on to it. Now it's up over 100%. Now look at that chart. That's a great chart.
Let's count the candles here.
I was going to say, do you guys think that this is going to be a steep correction or that this is going to be just a minor profit taking before it continues its upward trajectory?
Well, we never really formed any supports.
Look at that chart.
CJ, what's that long wick telling us right there on the high volume pump?
Yeah.
Well, all right, let's look at the percentage increase. 300% increase in the last 3 or 4 days. We've had a lot of coins with this type of price action, VGX, StormX, some others. I think people are just trying to find opportunities of quality projects that have low market caps, solid fundamentals. UMA is likely one of those, and it continues to increase. Now, let's remember that if you go to the 4-hour chart here, oh, sorry, that's the 1 hour. Bear with me, guys. But yeah, so we're in a recycle period on sequential, but if we count the candles, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we have this spinning top quasi doji candle, which is a 9 at the top of an uptrend. You know, it's a sign we're going to get a correction, or at least, you know, continue this temporary downward price action. But, you know, if we look at what happened with VGX when it hit a similar level, like it reached a 9, it corrected over a, you know, pretty simple period of time, but then it shot up again. So some patience here, let the chart load. Got to improve my internet connection a bit. But as you can see here, same type of deal, right? We have a 9, a breakdown, a long consolidation, and then another break up. So that could definitely be the case for UMA here. We could get a little bit of sideways downward price action before we ultimately go higher throughout the course of the rest of the bull market. So, you know, while we've gone up in the interim, we'll see what happens this thing. Might get a little correction, but got some solid fundamentals for now.
Yeah,
CJ, do you mind if I okay, so you turn off your screen sharing. There's one thing I wanted to show everyone. Looking at sentiment data with UMA. This is yeah. So when you look at sentiment data, right, the sentiment spiked up a few days ago, or about a week ago, and everything went flat. And then right before UMA went up again, sentiment shot up. And, you know, being able to monitor this, there were a lot of people, you know, in the Trade the Chain community who are able to take advantage of, you know, this upward movement by reading the sentiment data. Wow, I just froze there. Sorry, I was looking at the chart. So looking at the sentiment data, what does this tell you in terms of support for it long term?
Yeah, well, I mean, so CJ and I, like, don't get me wrong, we're definitely technical oriented traders. So like when we look at that chart with the candles, I kind of automatically think reversal. But that's what I was going to say. Like the sentiment around this coin is very strong. And I think the sentiment around it in confluence with the purpose it serves, like it has good utility, the ability to kind of create these synthetic markets for people to trade. I think that, like Alex said, is kind of a cool utility that will definitely appeal to retail traders going forward. So I think as long as they can keep the sentiment up, which I do anticipate it will stay up as long as this retail interest stays in the space for as long, whatever time it does, I expect it to maybe not correct as much as you think if you just looked at it from a technical perspective.
Gotcha.
You got to, I mean, I think Monty and our approach has always been a combination of fundamental and technical analysis, especially in crypto. It's altcoins and technical analysis. Sometimes it's a lost cause.
CJ, we saw how you broke down Doge the other day with your FA on the couch with your kimono. That was good.
And it pumped since then.
See what I'm talking about, folks? That's the kimono crouching tiger pump right there.
I saw somebody, they're like, the kimono is a top indicator.
I saw that comment. That's so fun. All right, folks, thank you so much for being with us today. It's been entertaining to say the least. I hope we delivered some value to you guys. CJ, Monty, Ryan, myself are always happy to do this, and we're going to see you tomorrow. So until then, hang on to your handlebars. There was no honey holes today, and good luck trading, folks. See you later.